Now, what I want to talk to you guys about is the issue of being sensitive. As we all know, sensitivity, being sensitive, this is a normal issue a lot of people in the world struggle with, and pretty much it prevents you from getting the best out of life. You know, everything from having a great social life. You know, so you could in itself prevent you from becoming an idle-minded person, which is something I could tell you later on in later videos is definitely something you definitely do not want to have. It's definitely something you definitely do not want to be, and in general, it's something that makes the experience fun. It provides a fun experience, something for you to do, you know, and also for you to have a hobby, and you know, to have a hobby, something interesting, something you're passionate about, that you enjoy doing, and something you can do when you're bored, and to get over the issue of being a sensitive person, because I know there's some people in the world who are sensitive and they can't help it. Like I've said before, there are ways to get around it, because in today's world, we're raised to believe that that the only possible way to deal with the issue of being sensitive is to simply take antidepressants. Now, of course, I'm not against the use of antidepressants. Okay, antidepressants. There's nothing wrong with antidepressants. If your doctor recommends it, you know, of course you have to be careful of which one you're using. But just in general, man, the truth about antidepressants is that antidepressants in general, man, you know, because at least if you're really sensitive and you become really anxious or depressed or something, antidepressants, they use it for many different things. And the problem with antidepressants is that they're really not. I mean, is that the problem with them is that not only are they expensive, you know, in America they're apparently, from what I've heard, they're quite expensive. Here in Canada, you know, they say that because that's a misconception about Canada. You don't get healthcare completely for free. It's provided for you mostly by insurance, but you have to pay some money for it. So no matter where you go, antidepressants are quite expensive. And just in general, man, at least if you're starting to have the starting symptoms, and this is something I believe you can do alongside alongside taking medicine, if it's recommended to you by your doctor, is self-talk. Now, self-talk is pretty much consists of just simply saying something positive about yourself, okay? Like, there's many different forms of it. For one, like let's just say, for example, you know, somebody says you have a very bad situation and somebody says that you're stupid, okay? The best for self-talk, you know, one thing you could do is that if you learn how to debate, at least innerly debate, which goes along with the first point, you know, these two and two go together, is that if you learn how to have a debate, I mean, if you learn how to question the thoughts, because somebody might say that you're stupid, and you're thinking to yourself, like, this guy's really calling me stupid. This was just the first time I did something dumb. I was around him, you know, and there's you know, but at the same time I see him and the rest of them doing something stupid, you know, because that's the first thing about sensitive people, is that it's always the same thing, you know, is that they always rationalize everything in the beginning, but at the same time the thoughts still bug them. That's what all hypersensitive people tend to say. But of course that part still comes in handy. The other thing, what you need to do is that you need to try to change your thoughts, because people who are sensitive, they tend to be people who think the same thoughts over and over again, you know. Like I said before, people say, you know, you just need to distract yourself. But in general, man, for some people in the world, that's just how they are. They you know, because honestly, man, if TV and the computer, just watching that can deal with the issue of of getting things off your mind and getting rid of it, then that's what everybody, then we, being sensitive wouldn't be such a big issue. The biggest issue with being sensitive is simply how to deal with being the type of person that has a lot of thoughts going on in your head over and over again. And the best way to possibly do it is to use that is to use your head, use it that way to your advantage. Because yeah, I have a bit of a call. Yeah, and is to use that to your advantage, okay? Because just like, let's just say that person, you had a really bad experience. Maybe you had a failure for like a test, or maybe you had a failure for this and you had a failure for that, and what happened, that thing that made you feel bad, it goes on over and over and over again in your head. That incident. If your head is like that, then obviously it can go over and over again and again in your head something positive, because that's just how you are. Just like if you're a sensitive person, if something good happens for a while, you'll probably never forget it, as I'm sure a lot of people have. Just like you had a really good time at a party, you think about it for the longest time, to the point that somebody might tell you to shut up. Like that is just the truth about it, is that for people who think a lot, who have repetitive who think a lot and have repetitive thoughts, you can do anything possibly you want with it. Because because let's just say, because if you're a sensitive person, to deal with that issue of the recurring thoughts, all you simply have to do is just simply say something positive about yourself, okay? Maybe say something in your head, maybe like, I will think positively instead of negatively. I'll think of my positive experiences instead of my negative ones. I'll move on from the past. What that person said what that person says is not true. Maybe you can even tell yourself, I could just ignore it. I'll just ignore the negative thoughts. Maybe it makes a bit of sense, because you'll just simply say, I'll just ignore the negative thoughts in my head, and then over time you actually ignore them, because you feel confident or something, and you just forget it. These are just one of the few examples of stuff. One of the few examples of something of how to deal with being a sensitive person, because being a sensitive person is not a good condition. You miss out on so much in life because of it. And the thing that really gets me about sensitive people is they usually tend to be some of the most smartest people like out there, man. And being sensitive is hell, man. It's not a good experience. It sucks. It's pretty much no fun, man. Because a sensitive person, if you say something negative to them, pretty much, even a small comment, even if they can rationalize it, they will feel really bad, really bad for the past couple of days, just for a simple comment, a simple comment. And I'm talking about like on a emotional pain level of maybe like a 4.6 or 4.7 for a couple of days, over, on and off again. That's not what you want, okay? Like, that's the truth about it. At least that's for the really sensitive people. But just in general, for anybody, that's not what you want, okay? So, to simply deal with that issue, it's best you just simply... try to find a way to say something positive about yourself. Because if you say something positive about yourself, more and more again, you'll start to build up confidence. And more again, your thought patterns will change. Okay, if somebody might cut you off, you'll keep on thinking of the good things in life. You won't focus on the negativity of this world. And that's what I personally believe is the best solution to dealing with being sensitive. And with being sensitive, you know, with being sensitive is those methods. And that's all I have to say.